Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you a comparison of raw recorded drums versus mixed drums. It's in the same take, and I just switch back and forth between raw and mixed while I'm showing you a video of me drumming. This is what it looks like here in the room with the drums, and the room mic is here. Here's a picture of the drum set close up. That's a sub kick down there that I made. Overheads up here, and then here's another picture of the kit. Here's the hi-hat mics with the SM57. Here's the snare drum with an Audix i5. Here's the snare bottom with an E609. Here's the tom 1 with the D2, Audix D2, also on tom 2. The floor tom has a D4 on it. The two overheads, I believe they are, I forget what they're called, but it's all part of the Audix DP7 kit. I think it comes with 7 mics, yeah. And then here's the ride mic. It's a small diaphragm condenser. Here is the room mic, about like 20 feet away. It's a Rode NT1. Here's the crotch mic, just right above the kick drum, pointed directly in towards me. Here is the kick in mic, the D6, and the kick out mic, which is the sub kick that I made. And here is the video of me drumming with the raw versus mixed comparison, and then after the video I'm going to be going into how I mix the drums. Okay, so I have the Pro Tools session up here with the drums. This is what it looks like. So I'll show you real quick what it sounds like mixed, just a quick part of it. And this is the raw drums, no mixing. So yeah, so let me just get right into it. First I usually just start off with the kick drum and then just work my way down. So this is with no plugins on the kick drum. And then I added a dynamic EQ. Sounds like it's kind of killing it a little bit, but it's I'm making up for it in the end with the mastering and like the drum bus and stuff like that, and the plugins after this. So I'll show you again before and after. And then after that I have a sub filter. So I'm taking out a lot of the low end because I'm adding tight punch at 44 hertz. So it's just like really just kind of like giving it a tighter low end feel. I'll show you without and then I'll put it back in. Sounds pretty good. Then I have a compressor, just taming the dynamics a little bit and boosting the gain afterwards. And then the sub kick, which I made out of a speaker, just wired it backwards to make it work as a microphone. Without any plugins, it sounds like this. And then the same thing, the EQ, the sub filter, and the compressor. So when I put in those three, that's without it again. And then together the kicks sound like this. This is also with no plugins on the drum bus. So this is just the tracks just being mixed without any mixing on the drum bus. And before I mixed it, it sounded like this. It's still kind of boomy and resonates a little bit, but the rest of the drum kit pretty much covers it up anyway. In the whole mix of the drums. The snare drum sounds like this before mix. Actually, without the reverb. And I added a dynamic EQ again. And then I have a saturation knob, keeping the highs. It's on keep high, and saturation is just turned up quite a bit. And then a compressor. And that is running into a reverb by Universal Audio. It's called Capital Chambers, and it's just really filling up a lot of the sound in the whole drums. I use the filter to just kind of cut out like the low resonating in the reverb. I just cut out the lows in the reverb. It just makes it sound a lot better in the snare, and then use a little bit of the bass to make up for it. And then I have the snare bottom without any plugins. And then with the EQ on. And then the saturation. compressor. And then both the snares, the snare top and snare bottom. So that's it for the kick and snares. And then I have the toms here. And all I have for these is just EQ, similar EQ moves on the 3 toms, compressors on the 3 toms, and then a denoise plugin on the floor tom because there was a little bit too much wash from the a little bit too much bleed from the ride mic. So without any plugins, the first tom sounds like this. Let me just show you what it sounds like without any plugins on any of the toms. And then with the plugins on the toms. So one more time. So yeah, toms sound pretty good. And then I have a shells bus, which means all just the actual drums, no cymbals or rooms or overheads or anything. So just the kick mics, the snare mics, and the tom mics. Just going to the shell bus here, and it's just kind of compressing it a little bit, and with the R compressor by Waves. So I'll show you without that. Yeah, so you can hear it a little bit. And then I have the overheads, pan to left and right. Without any plugins on the overheads, they sound like this. And then I added in EQ for both of them. And then compressors for the 2 EQs, overheads. And then after the compressors, I put on it's called DF Clarify. It just it learns your cymbals, and then learns the sound that the mics pick up, and then it takes that and softens them, and you can mess with the smooth weight. I just smooth it out, give it all the weight, soften it, and bring back the clarity a little bit, and it sounds a lot nicer. I'll show you what that sounds like. See, without the DF Clarify, it sounds like this. And then I'll put it in real quick. Take it out again. Put it back in. Yep, so it just kind of smoothens it out. This is the far room mic. So the Rode mic, it just has basic EQ. And then it has a compressor, just kind of like, not, I wouldn't say smashing it, but like compressing pretty hard to just kind of bring out the full kit. So it makes a big difference when you put the compressor in. And then I have DF Clarify on this too. I have DF Clarify on all my my cymbal mics, basically all the rooms and overheads and stuff like that. Hi-hat, ride. So this clears out the cymbals more too. Let me go to a part that has more cymbals. Once again, it just softens it. I have the crotch mic, which is just right over the kick drum, just pointing inward towards me. I have a just a phase flip on it, just to flip the polarity, because it was sounding like it was flamming with like the room mic in and the overheads. So I'm just flip the phase right there to bring it out of phase 180 degrees, and then I have an EQ on, just taking away some of that weird mid-range. And then a compressor. This one I'm compressing a lot more than the room mic, just because it just gives it life to the drum set. So I'll play it without, then I'll put it back in. And then with the DF Clarify on. Then we have the hi-hats, which have the EQ. So the EQ takes out a lot of harshness and a lot of like unwanted tones. And then I have the compressor. Usually with the compressor, I like to use a soft knee. So the knee like all the way up, and it softens this up and kind of rounds out the edges. It lets it like compress more and just kind of helps it so I can dial in the attack and release better, and it sounds softer for like the cymbals and stuff. And then I have GF Clarify on again. And then there's my ride mic. EQ on that looks like this. Cutting out a lot of the lows. Boosting some highs, some mid-range I'm cutting out. And then I have a compressor. Just cutting off a lot of that, like, bell attack. A lot of the transient. Make it sound nicer, smoother. And then DF clarify again. A lot smoother again. So I showed all of the shells and all the symbols and stuff. And then that's what it all sounds like without any mixing on the drum bus. And then with the EQ, I'm just doing basic EQ on the drum bus here. And then I have my compressor that I usually use on my drum bus, the CLA 2A. So that's everything, and then the last part, I just kind of mastered it a little bit with Ozone 9 by Izotope. And I have the dynamics here, so this is kind of like a multi-band compressor. It just compresses the different frequency ranges separately. So this, I just kind of dive into it in solo, mess with the ratio, attack, release. So if you turn like this off, this is what this band would sound like without any compression or limiting. And then back into it. So that's what it's doing. It's just kind of taming the dynamics in all of the frequency ranges. So that's what that's doing, and then I have dynamic EQ, just kind of taking out like certain harsh frequencies and unwanted low end and high end. Before and after that. Actually, let's go to this too. Before the dynamics, the multiband compressor, and then after. See, it's a lot harsher without it. And then with the EQ, and then I have a maximizer on just to get it to volume and just kind of tighten it up by compressing it a little bit more. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much everything, and here's what it sounds like a little bit. it raw again, what it sounds like before all the mixing. And then after again. Yep, so that's everything. Thanks for watching, and hopefully check out some of my music, and thank you.